You remember Catalonia, Spain? They wanted to detach from Spain, be our own sovereign country, and they had to have a referendum, and it got dragged on, and it like kind of went away, and I haven't heard anything in a while. There's a little update we got here now. Wolfstreet.com, Wolf Richter site. This article is by Don Quejones, because he got some big cojones talking about this stuff, man. Catalonia threatens Spain with financial bloodbath. Was that like fighting fire with fire against a bankster? What do we got here? On Monday, El País published leaked excerpts from what it claims to be the Catalonian regional government's roadmap to independence. The secret document includes a plan for the region to unilaterally break away from Spain should its citizens be prevented from holding a referendum on independence in the fall. It provoked a fierce backlash from Madrid. The proposal is an unacceptable attempt to blackmail the state, Spain's Prime Minister Mario Rajoy said in a hastily convened press conference. Spain's Defense Minister Maria Dolores de Cospedal likened the plot to a coup d'etat. In the meantime, Madrid continues to refuse to even entertain the idea of allowing a referendum on Catalonian independence, despite the fact that just about every survey of the last few years, 80% of them, the Catalans, including many unionists, have requested one. It would mean the loss of 25 to 30% of Spain's gross domestic product. That's a pretty big chunk from one little entity, Catalonia, isn't it? Says Spain's Minister of the Economy, Luis de Guindos. And that's something the government will never let happen. We don't want, that's our cash cow. You can't leave. You can check in, but you can never leave. Welcome to the Hotel Spain Alona. Such a lovely place. Such a lovely place. But Catalonia knows it has a card up its sleeve. It's ticking, or it's what he calls a tick-tocking debt bomb. Catalonia can no longer issue its own debt and depends on the central government's National Liquidity Fund, the FLA for its Spanish acronym, for about 60% of its funds, as rating agencies Fitch warned in April of last year when it set Catalonian debt even deeper into junk territory. The region has grave liquidity problems that will require proactive management and close collaboration with the central state, something that's clearly not on the cards anytime soon. At the same time, Spain's public debt continues to grow, recently bursting through 100% of GDP. Even with historically low interest rates, courtesy of Mr. Draghi, the price of servicing government debt can spiral out of control. Between 2011 and 2015, Spain's central government spent 121 billion euros, the equivalent of 12% of annual GDP, just on the interest payments. As Catalonia's finance minister, Oriol Junqueras, recently noted, Rajoy's government has already burnt through the 65 billion Social Security fund surplus it inherited in 2011 and is now using a toxic blend of tax funds and public debt to finance the country's widening pension deficit, which is forecast to reach between 10 billion and 15 billion a year. In other words, Spain's deficit, already one of the largest in Europe, is going to remain high for the foreseeable future, despite all the threats of the multi-billion euro fines emanating from Brussels. As the widely renowned Columbia University professor of economics and fervent Catalan separatist Javier Sala y Martí recently pointed in an interview on Catalan television, all of the debt, including the debt owed by the Catalan regional government, is in the name of the King of Spain. Yes. Fighting fire with fire. Oh, wait, that's not my name. That guarantee is not us. That's you, son. It's like, that guarantee you signed, you're the CEO of the corporation. We're just the employees. And we have employees under us. But we could leave and you're stuck with the debt. It's your problem, not ours. That's what they're saying. This debt is in the King of Spain's name, not ours. So if we separate, Piss off. I love it. It's Spain's debt. They already have a debt load of 100% of GDP. If Catalonia declared independence tomorrow and Spain were to say you're going to be kicked out of the EU for 3 generations and everything else they threaten us with, we'd say to them, well, these little papers of debt or bonds, you can have them for the next 3 generations. All of a sudden, they'd have a much smaller GDP and a much larger debt overhang, around 125%. A debt to GDP ratio of 125% would not be feasible. Spain would not be able to pay the debt they owe the Spanish banks, the biggest holders of Spanish bonds, and that would ruin them, triggering a financial bloodbath. I love when you actually have them by the balls instead of the other way around. Isn't this great? Catalonia, you guys are fantastic. I love you. Such an outcome has also been postulated by the U.S. rating agency Moody's. In effect, any default on Catalonia's debt would be interpreted by the markets as a Spanish default. In other words, whence goeth Catalonia, goeth Spain. And right now, Catalonia's government seems determined to stage the mother of all showdowns with the central government in Madrid. A financial fiasco for both sides. Catalans are a notorious prudent, cautious people. As such, it's fair to assume that at least some of what lies behind the regional government's recent escalation of tensions with Madrid is bluff and bluster. But a big bluff can sometimes set one down a very dangerous path from which it can be difficult to extricate oneself. The Catalan government may be hoping that threatening to declare independence unilaterally, or even following through on the threats, will finally push the Spanish government into having to compromise. But it's a massive gamble. In some parts of Catalonia, including Barcelona, from where I'm writing this article, he says, public support for independence appears to be on the wane. But for many nationalists in the Catalan government, turning back with so little of substance to show pro-independence voters after promising them so much may not be an option. As for Rajoy's government, its staunch defense of the country's territorial unity is a vital vote winner for its core supporters. And right now, with new corruption scandals engulfing senior members of Rajoy's People's Party breaking every week or two, these are votes it can ill afford to lose, especially with new snap general elections growing increasingly likely. In other words, the prospects of a win-win solution being found in the coming months are by now slim. The chances of a lose-lose outcome are growing by the day. Does this mean that Spain, in the Eurozone's 4th largest economy, is on the verge of breaking up? Probably not. But to prevent that from happening, Madrid may end up having to take drastic and deeply symbolic actions, including invoking Article 155 of the Constitution, which will effectively put an end to all forms of Catalan self-governance, and that could merely serve to strengthen the resolve of Catalan separatists while further polarizing divisions within Spain's richest nation. And he says, when locals can't afford to live there anymore, they get restless. Read the backlash to Spain's new property boom has begun. And I think I actually read that article a little while ago. Another European Union country, Spain, the 4th largest contributor of the economy over there in that zone. And their cash cow is saying, you've taken all the money that we've produced in the rest of the nation, but in all fairness, we've produced a lot of it. You've squandered it. We're more in debt than we ever were. We were just barely servicing the debt, but we're not really paying it off. It's getting worse. We don't feel like we're causing this. We didn't do this. You're just using us as a cash cow. And we can see where this is going. And we also understand that the debt is in your name as the king of Spain's name. That's not us. So it's kind of like your friends coming, or better example for those of you that have the kids, small kids, one of their little friends comes over, goes in their room, pulls out a bunch of their toys, plays with it. Oh, your mom said you got to go home. Okay. And then they run out of your house and leave without cleaning up their mess. And then you tell your kid, well, that's your friend. You got to clean up their mess. But I didn't make the mess. Well, they're already gone now, so you just have to do it. Or you can try. Can you send your kid back after dinner? She needs to clean up her mess. And many times a parent will do that. But that's kind of what this is. Someone came over here, made a mess, big debt, and left it for you. I'm out. So Catalonia, not that Catalonia made the debt, but they're basically the kid that came over to play, said, what the hell is, I'm not playing here. This room is a disaster. It's a mess. I'm leaving. And the little bit that I played with, it's in your name anyways. I'm out of here. That's what the Catalonians are doing. I hope they actually pull this off and they say, you know what? Because we don't see how this will ever get resolved other than us leaving. We want our own, to become our own state, basically, our own country. We don't want to be a part of Spain anymore. You guys are reckless, drunken sailors. Bail out, bail out, bail out for the elites. No bailout for the people. We're tired of it, and this is our way of voting. We are voting to leave you behind. This is a divorce. You're a drunk who beats his wife, so to speak. We don't want any part of that. We are leaving, and all the debt's in your name, mister. Have a nice day. That's how they're rolling. I hope it happens. Love to come out here and report on that. Take care.